What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride. Welcome to another episode of What If You Could, and this is episode 2 of our podcast with Jamie Matheney. Jamie has a whole bunch of hats that she wears, but one of her biggest hats is cannabis distribution. So Jamie goes in to describe to us the ins and outs of the cannabis business, especially being a strong, badass woman, and what all of that entails. So enjoy episode 2 with Jamie Matheney, and welcome to What If You Could. Because basically, the FDA, the NIH, the CDC, they're all freaking owned by the pharmaceutical industry, right? So until big pharma can make money off of weed, they're not going to legalize it, right? Why would they?
They're making, and it's not big pharma that's going to make money anyway. It's going to be the government, but they're already making money off of us. Why the hell would they legalize it? And it's so cheap right now. It's basically went the same way that alcohol. It's going the same path. It's already so commercialized. I don't know. We'll
It's
see.
now, would so you kind of became this entrepreneur. You were just a junkyard dog growing up, and now I can see where you got your tenaciousness from, growing up in the salvage yard. But you didn't find your entrepreneurial spirit until later, right? I mean, much later, or maybe younger. It was there. You just didn't
I was
exercise it.
and I was having kids. I did that for 15 years.
Yeah.
And then I figured that was always something that always held me back because he, didn't want me to work and stuff like that, which again, I'm so thankful for. But yeah, now I don't want an 8 to 5 job. I would never have an 8 to 5 job. I've done so many other things now too. I have a produce company. I invested in a couple of the orchards in Palisade, Colorado. So now I'm doing that. I think I'll probably always just stay never growing up. I don't have any
Right.
being settled down. Everyone's like, oh, why don't you go spend money? And I think I will just keep doing what I'm doing. I live a very simple life. I like it. Um,
How did you select peaches from cannabis? How was that transition?
Well, it's funny. I met this guy on Facebook. He turned out to be very weird, not person,
I'm
but
shocked. You met a weird person on Facebook?
so the job. I worked a security job. I just like to do like cool shit. I'm not one of those women that wants to like sit behind a desk. I've had the desk jobs. I've ran dispensaries. I've ran grows. I've ran a $1 billion Wana company, or edible company. I've ran, multiple things. I've done a lot of cool things, but I don't want to like stay in one. I'm not going to stay in one thing. I don't want to sit still. My youngest is 11. Me and their father have a good relationship now. We don't really, it's not a schedule, but it's a schedule for us. It works for us. Um, and I want to be able to like do whatever I want to do. I don't want to spend the one life that I have being like every other woman and put up on a shelf. I did that. I've been maintained. I don't know. It's just, I would rather make my own money. I'd rather do my own thing. Um, I do not listen well. So they're back and I question stuff. And so sometimes that causes chaos or that causes a wave and I just ride that fucker out. And so I've shot for the stars and I've hit every fucking time.
So the gal who did the Wana thing, so she's obviously a woman, right?
Yeah.
Biological. And you are obviously about it. So cannabis was probably a really big ass men's club, right? I mean, were you
Us,
guys kind of breaking into it as chicks or
there is less than 1% of us,
there's what?
less than 1% women in the cannabis industry.
Wow.
And
Yeah, so you had to really go in there and kick some ass, right?
yeah, yeah. And um as far as like that goes, we've done some shit. It was her and her husband that started Wana. And then, it's kind of the luck of the draw. You create this company and you get good employees and you get good sales teams and they get that edible in every single dispensary in the entire nation. And then somebody comes and is like, hey, I want your business. She scored. She does have the highest transaction sell in cannabis history. And I believe it was 297 million.
Wow. Wow. And does she only do the edibles?
She is the CEO currently for Wana Edibles.
Wow. I will look for them next time I get edibles, if I
Yeah,
ever get edibles. I might go to the dispensary just to ask for them. Oh no, shit, we're in California. You said you guys yanked it because California sucks, right?
yeah. Wana removed their Oregon and California because they just suck that bad.
Think about how bad that is, right? I mean, if people listen to this, you got to think about this for a second. California and Oregon present themselves as this free love, woo woo, all inclusive bullshit, right? Like we're like the epitome of all this shit. A freaking weed company leaves Oregon and California because you suck so. I mean, what does that tell you about California? That they're such bullshit, right? I mean, it's like we're supposed to be the weed state of the world, right? That just blows my mind that they suck that bad.
They suck that bad. And they've sucked for a long time. But the thing is California can't run business for shit. The entire country is being ran like shit because individuals that are in place running stuff can't run these
Because
countries.
they've never had a business. Most people in government, like the greaseball who's our governor, the next douchebag who's going to be the governor, shit. I mean, all these people, the dude who's supposed to be president. I mean, none of these people have ever had a job. None of them have run a company. They don't have. I mean, the dude's been in office for 50 years. He doesn't know
Oh,
what a job is. So
oh,
how do they know how to help build businesses? They don't have a clue.
so get this. I seen a thing. Biden was worth like 6 million, 6 million or 9 million. Don't quote me on this for sure again because I forgot my statistics. Sorry. 6 million or 9 million. He is now his net worth is 41 million. Kamala was worth 6 million. Her net worth is worth currently 24 million.
Well,
How?
how about Nancy Pelosi? You've been a government employee your whole life. You make $174,000 a year. You have a big ass house in San Francisco. You have a big ass house in Washington, D.C. How are you guys I mean, how does her husband get so lucky with these with his investments, right? It's like God, he's just been so lucky. They've got all their money from her husband. Hands off. She didn't do anything, right? It's just such bullshit. I mean, I think, and I don't want to spin off too much, but I love to do that with you anyways. But how do these people go in there on that type of salary, holding down two households because you got to live in your state and you got to live in DC, right? And come out of there as multimillionaires. Uh,
And they're so mad at the orange guy, and he didn't even take a paycheck. Uh,
That's well, we're just gonna keep shooting his ass.
Today I got today I got told that 2A is for the citizens. I I read it back to this individual. He literally just like vomited all over me. She was like, "You're a bitch, you're blah blah blah." Like, and I mean, she just like went all the way off on me, and I was like, "Whoa!" It's literally mind blowing to me at this point as a business owner, um, a taxpayer. a mom, a friend, a girlfriend, a sister. Like I just I don't know where we went wrong. I honestly do not know where we went wrong. I
I'll tell you where we went wrong. A friend of
oh,
mine is a very liberal, but and professionally she runs campaigns. She's run some huge campaigns. I don't want to mention her name, but so she told me to read this book called The Chaos Machine about social media and what it's done to us. Unfortunately, it's heavily tainted to the left because the dude worked for the Atlantic, bleh, the Washington Post, and the New York Times. So the writers
oh,
obviously that's the trifecta of horribleness, right? That those three.
yeah,
But when he gets off his right wing is the devil's soapbox, there's a lot of really interesting shit in there about social media and how it's engineered and how it's geared to make us all fucking hate each other. It's the most amazing thing. They know the triggers and they've perfected the triggers of how to mess with our brain like they do with slot machines, how they keep us putting in that thing, right? So social media, as much as I love it and it got us connected, is really fucked up. I mean, we've got to figure out how to con- get off that hate wagon somehow.
it is fucked up. It's very fucked up. I don't my daughter is currently in college and they have been doing studies on the brain, the human brain. And they've done some multiple studies that since the vaccine has came out and people have gotten the vaccine along with the boosters, it has literally affected their frontal lobe of the entire frontal lobe of the brain. And if you know anything about the frontal lobe of the brain, that's going to be your personality. That's going to be your feelings. That's going to be we need those. And I don't know what happened. And I mean, I'm going to say this until the day I die. It's this damn vaccine. There's no way on the planet that this many people can have this much hate for no reason at all. I mean, I've even asked, I said, hey, you can ask someone, why do you hate Trump? They really don't have a reason. They have no reason at all. They just say, I don't know. I just can't stand him. He's such an egotistical asshole.
Better yet, though, think about it. I've got friends who've known me personally for a long time, who know who I am. My son's in the military. My other son's ready for city council. He's been in our family business. He is a good kid. My sons are good kids, right? I mean, really good people somehow, thanks to their mom, not for me. But it's like because they're conservatives, these people hate them and unfriend them. It's like, well, look, you can hate me, but why do you hate my kids? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? These are good. And I go, do you think my son's bad? Like, no, no, they're really great kids. Well, then why? Well, I can't support anyone who's a conservative. It's like, why?
But that's sad. Why though?
They
Like
don't
that's
have a reason why.
so like why hate somebody so bad that you don't even know? None of us do. None of us really know Trump. We don't know. All we know is what we've seen. And I mean, it's just I don't know. I guess the hate thing is new to me because I wasn't always out in like the workforce or in the public or whatever. And so like maybe I didn't notice it as much. But just in the last few years, the hate towards children and women has just skyrocketed. I mean, I don't know what the children have done. Nothing that I can see. I mean, they're doing is they're here because their parents brought them here. I see some of the brightest kids. I mean, some of these kids, I'm like, whoa, how much more talent in one finger than most of us have in our entire body. And they're so suppressed and they're so indoctrinated and they're so told how to feel and what to think and what to do. But yet they're left to look at an iPad, watch TikTok for 12 hours a day. You know,
Well, and the other thing is that they're so sad and they're so scared. It's like,
There's
when did children my kids weren't sad and scared. I wasn't sad and scared. Even though I was a latchkey kid, I didn't even know where my parents were half the time. But I didn't give a shit. We were out with our friends, having
I,
fun, doing stupid shit, climbing trees, building forts, doing all sorts of stupid shit. Our drug of choice was Boone Farm, Strawberry Hill. I mean, we got into all sorts of stupid mischief, right? But I mean, we were never like sad, where it's like, I need to start cutting body parts off, and I need to start doing weird, crazy shit to myself because I'm just so angry and sad. It's like, what? Why? What
there's
happened?
self-mutilating mentally and physically now, like self-mutilating. It is so they're so disconnected from reality. And um one of our local librarians, love her to death. I am not going to say her name because she went through hell. Was in the school district for almost 30 years. They came to her, they came to her multiple times and said, we want you to buy these books. It was
By what?
books,
Oh,
certain for the library.
yeah.
These elementary kids, which was preschool to fifth grade, would have these available for them. They were books for transgender, um, LGBT, all this stuff. So she just denied the request from the administrator. He came back. He came back with a write up, um, and threatened her. You better buy these books. They better be available. So she purchased the books against her morals, against everything she believes, integrity, against her religious beliefs, everything. And she bought these books. And she proceeded to, now keep in mind, this woman has given this district over 20 years of her life. Like, do you know how many kids she's read books to and she's checked out books to? And like,
Thousands.
I
Yeah, thousands of kids.
can't even imagine over the years, she's tutored, like, master's degree, very educated. And she decided against her, she did this. She's like, I did it all on my own. She hid the books so that the children would not be able to access them. And he then threatened her job and she retired early.
Now, were the kids actually looking for these books? I mean, honestly, was it like, I'm
I mean,
gonna go, look at a book
out a
of this or
child
that? I mean,
and
I just
asking
don't know if that's the case. And it's nothing against, like, I got so many gay friends. I live in Palm Springs, man. I think we have a bigger gay community than San Francisco now. So it's like, and I grew up working in restaurants, and every guy in there was a gay guy in the restaurants. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I love you all, man. I love everybody. But it's just like,
35 years is gay.
that's bad to
Gay,
fire someone for that.
yeah. But he also doesn't believe in indoctrinating children. He doesn't believe in any of that. And I mean, it's not okay. We have had cat boxes put in our public schools here. We've had, um,
And do you have four girls, or what's the makeup of your kids?
I have three girls and one boy. So I have a
Ah,
20-year-old son, an 18-year-old daughter, a 15-year-old daughter, and an 11-year-old
nice, nice.
daughter. Facts. I fought hard for that. I've lost multiple business deals with people over the vax. Cannabis is hardcore left, a very liberal industry. And so that's another reason why I'm leaving, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, they were just like, nope, you can't be here. I won't employ you if you can't show proof of a vaccine. A lot of people lost their jobs here, like medical jobs and stuff, because they didn't want to get vaccinated. Um, I don't know. I don't know if that's what caused the hate, Gary. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But the genetic makeup of humanity has definitely changed in the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's really sad because, I mean, families are fighting, really good friends, like I said. I mean, I've been unfriended and basically told to go screw myself by multiple friends. And I'm like, well, I guess we weren't friends. I mean, I don't hate you because of your beliefs.
Nope.
I don't hate you because of who you're going to vote for. And you guys have demonized one person to the point of to the fact of that you just hate other people. It doesn't even make sense to me. It's like, listen, we all know that DC is a big shitty swamp full of crap and it's a machine, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you put in there for 4 or 8 years. That machine is just going to keep doing what the machine does until we blow it up, right? So it's like, why are you so hateful to me? Because I think this guy's is a better blog for the next couple of years in the machine. It's like 4 years from now, it's going to be the same bullshit. And are you going to come back and say, "Oh, we could be friends now"? It's like, well, fuck that, right? It's just it's sad. I still reach out to the same people who unfriended me or just don't reach out to me. And I reach out and go, dude, are you going to stop this stupid bullshit now or what? I like you, it's just weird. I don't know.
I'm not reaching out to nobody. I've lost a lot of, and I don't give a shit. Like, so it is what it is. All
What's gonna be your next adventure? So are you blowing out of Colorado?
I'm here for a while because my youngest is here. So I don't, my youngest has to finish school. So I will be here part time for the next like 6 years. But I don't think I'll invest anything. I don't think I'll do any new business adventures with this state. I think I'm just gonna lay low for a while. I am launching an American clothing brand. Um, so I'm working on that currently. And it's just going to be an American brand. It's not going to be like some of these brands that say, "Oh, we're American," and but all their stuff is made in China. It's going to,
What about your peach? And you do cherries besides peaches too, right?
yeah. So the orchards, that season is from like the first week of July till usually like the first, second week of September. This season, we were about 2 weeks early. So how I got into that was I met a gentleman on Facebook. Who we don't like associate anymore. I worked a stand for him. He does roadside stands up in the mountains. And I was like, oh well, let me do a roadside stand in the metro area. So of course, me being me, I was like, oh, this will be so fun, something to do after I've launched like multiple brands. Like I launched Kava, which is in Oklahoma. That's the first 1 gram cottonless full ceramic cart of Live and the battery, which is still there. They now have edibles too. Um, and so I've done some like really cool things, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And so I worked this stand, and it was actually me and my son. And it was so much fun, like so much fun. And so the gentleman that owned the orchard in Palisade, his dad died, and so he was taking over. And then I learned through the other guy that how to get to him, and so I decided I wanted to just like blow that up. So then I did that. This was my 4th year, and yeah, it's pretty good money. I do multiple. Like now, I'm way bigger, but now I'm in like a moonshine and a vodka, and I also invested in bees. So I got
Wait, wait,
honey.
wait, wait. You've got peach moonshine?
Yeah, so I have peach.
That's awesome. I love peaches. It's my favorite fruit. And I love your logo with the Palisades peaches. It's awesome. And is that easier than the weed business?
Oh, it's so much easier. It's so much funner. It's easy money. I should not tell everyone this because I've had multiple people like pop up now everywhere, but then I see them come and go because it's not as easy as you think it is. But I decided like I go every week and get my own peaches. Like I don't have them delivered to me, or I don't buy them from a produce company here. I picked up a produce license so that I could do other stuff. And I go get my peaches every week, and then I bring them back. And then I have my children run the stands, or I run the stands. And then we do like online orders and stuff like that. But my first year, I'm not going to tell everyone what I made this last year because I
Don't
everyone's
don't
trying,
say it because the feds are listening in.
but first year, well, fuck them. My first year, made in 10 weeks $100,000,
Wow.
and I
Pe-
own purchase.
Peaches are good.
Yeah, peaches are good money. It's $5 a pound.
Wow.
So we do have cherries, but we don't have very many cherry trees. So I am going to invest in a different orchard next season because I did have some shystiness here. Men always trying to fuck me over, but it just every time I use my brain, I always come out on top. And
That's because men, when they look at you, aren't using their brain.
yeah, no, and if you won't sleep with them, they get real pissed, and then and there's that. So anyway,
And then
next,
and the agricultural and produce business is a huge man dominated business. So you went from one male dominated business to another male dominated
yeah,
business, and you're still kicking ass.
yeah, I'm not gonna get out of that. I'm gonna be a menace to men forever. Um, I like what I mean. Women do boring stuff. I wish that there was more of me. But I get a lot of pushback from women. They don't, because a lot of women don't. They would rather, do the wife thing. Or I've been there. I've done that. I don't want to do that anymore. And I like working with men. Men, it's they get shit done. It's a lot more straight to the point, no bullshit. And that's me. Like I would rather them be like, this is what we're gonna fucking do, and then we just execute and finish it. I'm a closer usually, but I'm an opener and a closer, and so I have to, be it all. But for whatever reason, if you want to be in this country and run businesses and do things that most women don't do, you have to work with men. I mean,
Yeah.
have to. And I'm telling you, they try to eat me alive. I have had some shit. But I've also have a handful of them that would take a bullet for me. And we've made a ton of money together side by side, and they have my back and I have their back.
Well,
And
it's a real catch 22 though, because I have a lot of female friends and a lot in real life, but also in Facebook. And man, so many of my gal friends are ass kicking power brokers. They're stronger than fucking 15-day-old garlic. And a lot of women that I know are starting businesses, being entrepreneurs and stuff like that, and just going screw this shit, right? I mean, my wife is a dive instructor. She predominantly, whatever the word is, works with women. They've got disposable income now. More women are first time home buyers than men. But the challenge is, besides liberal women, most women, a lot of women still want to have a family. A lot of women want to be a mom, right? So it's like, well, shit, I guess I have to sacrifice to be a mom because I want kids, like my wife did, my first wife with our two sons, but we ran a business. So we just brought the kids with us, said, fuck it. I mean, our kids grew up, crawling around our real estate office. It's like, you can do both, but I think it's hard. Women.
it's definitely hard. The thing about I stayed home for a long time, so it was easier for me to jump into things. And now I would not want to just stay home all the time. Um, but I think a lot of it is like more so that this it's this stigma. It's this like you're a woman, you're supposed to have children, you're supposed to be married, you're supposed to kind of do that thing. And that works for a lot of people. But there is a lot of women out there that are currently doing that are very unhappy as well, which just breaks my heart because I was one of those for a long time too. Um, and you definitely have to sacrifice. I've had to sacrifice a lot of time with my children because I have to work and I have to start making, I was 10, 15 years behind financially because I was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I wasn't allowed to have a bank account. I wasn't, my name wasn't on any houses. My name wasn't on any cars. Like, I was very controlled, and in a very controlled relationship. And that's who I had children with, and that was my choice too. Um, but so I thought to myself, it took me a while. It took me about 2 years to get going. I actually like got my real estate license. I sold one house. I hated it. For me, like cause I mean, I had to deal with a guy again. It was a man. He was a multimillionaire. His house was old as shit. He's in Boulder. He doesn't want to drop the price. And so it just wasn't for me. Like that kind of a life is just not for me. I'm not that girl. I can't sit it behind a desk. And I've even tried that job before too. And I'm like, okay, I'll just run stuff from here. I can't do that. Like I want to be in my old grow truck running up and down the roads, checking on everybody. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to learn geeky stuff. I want to know what my employees are doing. I want to know how my product's doing in the dispensary. So I'll go stop at like dispensaries. I could have all the free cannabis I want. I don't. I go and buy my cannabis because I go into the dispensaries that have my product in it and I support them. And I support the bud tenders and I'll bring them cookies. And like that's the life that's just probably what I'll do forever. Hopefully someday my kids will start having kids and then I can like be a grandma and stuff. But until then, I'm going to launch this clothing line, sell all of my cannabis stuff, which is in the works. Thank goodness. I have a lab for sale in Fort Collins and a grow my greenhouses in right outside of Brighton, Colorado. And so if I sell those two, which are both in the works, then I will take my money and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I will be in Colorado part-time, but I think I might go and like sell but like some potatoes or something. I don't know.
Well, you're not going to sit still, that's for sure. And having some even more seed money to help for the clothing line will be fun. I mean, that'll be a good thing for you. When are we going to see the clothing line launched?
Hopefully January. I thought it was going to be like super easy. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so, so easy. It is so, so easy in this country to do that and launch a brand if you want to go out of state or out of the country and get all of your stuff. It's so, so easy. I mean, I could have had my hats and my sweatshirts and my t-shirts and everything done in China and probably already had stuff already coming back. But because I'm doing it in the States, which sucks. This is a first world, like, what are we, this is the United States of America. Why should I have to wait to launch a clothing brand or an American brand just because I want it made here? Because um, there was an individual that launched a clothing line a few years ago, and he claimed it was an American line. And then it came out that he was actually having everything manufactured overseas, and it didn't end well. It doesn't sound like. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm kind of at the in mercy of that. So I want it January 1st is my goal. We will see. We're just going to do some like hoodies. I was going to do some like political stuff, but then I decided no, I think there's just so much hate in this country. I think that I'm just going to just keep it American. We're going to do stuff for women, children, men, dogs, different stuff. I'm just going to do, just different swag, stuff like that. But hopefully January 1st, we'll be able to launch that, which I'm super excited about.
Good. Yeah, stay away from the political stuff. You can't win, and there's no, unfortunately, there shouldn't be a winning or losing. I mean, we're all supposed to fucking be in this together. I mean, we're all supposed to be Americans. So, but the fact that there is so much hate and everyone's so triggered, it's just not going to help you. I mean, you're a good person. You're obviously an entrepreneur. You've raised your kids. You did everything that were supposed to do as far as the wife and family and shit. So to just get your ass kicked just for your political beliefs, starting a new company, it's not fair. It's not fair to yourself.
No, I'm not. The hate that you get for just being a mom an American. You just, I wouldn't even, I get told a lot that I'm a good mom, and I mean, I have a great relationship with all four of my children. They are absolutely like way better than I will ever be. I created those four little badasses. And I mean, they tell me every day how great I am. And that's what counts. You've got like this small little pocket of humans that are still just being humans and trying to love, but also do the right thing. And at the end of the day, I'm going to do the right fucking thing. I don't care how many waves I create. I don't care how many hate mail, how much hate mail I get. I get hate mail every day. I don't care how many death threats. None of that bothers me. I'm still going to be a mom. I'm still going to be a business owner. I'm still going to be me. And I'm still going to do what's right. Even as bad as it bothers everybody else, that is never, ever going to change. It's not. And I wish that everybody else would just feel the same, because everybody's entitled to that. Every single person on this planet is entitled to happiness and to love and to stability and to success. And this is like insanity to me, but I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing unless it was something that was affecting somebody else in a negative way. I'm not changing shit, nor anybody that doesn't like me or has something to say, because at the end of the day, I've done nothing wrong other than just try to be a good person and be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, that's all we can do, kiddo. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking your time. We missed the train, which was good because I know it was blowing by there. We did get the doggies. The doggies were awesome. Thanks for the dog visit. But yeah, you're awesome. I mean, you've been through a lot. Um, you've pushed ahead. There's a lot of times you could have quit and you didn't. You kind of got a little fucked up shit from your husband, which happens a lot, unfortunately. But man, you're a fighter, and I love that. And that's why I wanted to talk to you and hear your story. Again, we could talk for 8 hours, but
Yeah.
I know you're busy too. But Jamie, I just appreciate you coming on. I always ask my guests one last question, and I never tell them ahead of time because I don't want them to have anything. I want it to kind of come from the heart. But if there's one thing you wanted to leave people with, um, and that doesn't have to be about you or politics or anything, just a thought that you have that means something to you. What thought would you like to leave us with? There's a train.
Like always inconveniencing me. Love yourself. At the end of the day, just love yourself. When you go to bed at night, if you lay your head on that pillow and you can say, hey, I did my best. I was a good person today. I did my part. I showed up. That's what counts. Just love yourself. Let somebody else do the rest for themselves. And the only other thing I would say is think for yourself. Just think for yourself. Maybe your husband is the greatest person on the planet. Maybe your wife is the most beautiful, most intelligent, most successful woman ever known. But when you walk in to vote for the next leader of this free country, think for yourself. Is this right for me? Is this right for my family? Is this right for the Americans? Is this right for everybody? Just think for yourself. Because the next person, no matter how much they love you, they're still for themselves.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Good thought. I mean, yeah, if we don't love ourselves, we're going to make choices that aren't going to help ourselves. And we've got to start thinking for ourselves because we're being so manipulated by so many things, especially the young people, are being so manipulated. I don't think they can think for themselves right now. I think they're just inundated with so much negativity. And I mean, remember when we were young, body dysmorphia was kind of one thing. Girls felt they were fat or their boobs weren't big enough, and guys wanted to be taller or buffer or whatever. But it wasn't as bad as it is now, right? It's just so wicked now. The
I
What's
think
happening to the kids, right? They need to start thinking for themselves.
they see California and they see these Holly weirdos and they think that like it's just not the thing. They're beautiful. There is so many beautiful people on this planet and in this country. Like everybody's selling themselves short. They're just like, no, we're just going to do it because everybody else is doing it. Fuck that. If it doesn't set my fucking soul on fire, I ain't fucking doing it.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna leave us on that note. You're amazing. I love talking to you. I love your spirit. We need more fighters like you. We need more entrepreneurs like you. Um, we need more truth tellers like you because if we don't find more folks like you and get them out there, I'm afraid we're going to head in even a worse direction than we are. So, Jamie, thanks for being a patriot and an awesome badass chick. I love you and I love what you're doing.
Peace
Keep
out.
it up. We're going to come get some peaches. All right,
Okay.
kiddo. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.